What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Angle of Pursuit podcast, your fantasy football, sports betting, and NASCAR home here at fakepigskin.com. Here with me each and every week to break down all of the NASCAR race. Brian, we're in the thick. Brian Twining is my co-host, and we are in the thick of the NASCAR playoffs. We are going to get down in the desert, heading to Las Vegas, talking a little South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But before we dive in, Brian, if you're enjoying what we're doing, if you're liking the podcast, make sure you mash that thumbs up, make sure you subscribe. We are here each and every single week breaking down the latest NASCAR race. Brian, how the hell are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I totally spaced that the race was last Saturday night, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. I did see that our boy Clint Boyer finished just outside the top 5 and 6th, and then our other selections definitely did not pan out, as Jimmy Johnson, Christopher Bell, all those dudes just completely crapped on us. So
Yeah.
hopefully we're better this week.
Yeah, we're in Las Vegas this week. I'm optimistic about better results, but yeah, it's been an interesting season. We've definitely had some highs, definitely had some lows, and a few races that are kind of in between. So, without further ado, let's start the way we always do. Let's go inside 10-1 and find our favorite options. Brian, I'll let you start and talk to me about your boy Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, before I even start talking about Big Brad over here, this was another race, the second consecutive race where, when looking at the odds, there were multiple people who were inside 10-1. This one has 7 people inside 10-1, and if you include Ryan Blaney, who's 10-1, that's 8 different drivers who all have very similar odds to win this race. So this is another one where you're trying to pick a needle in a haystack for a winner, but when I was looking, I found Keselowski to be a great value. I think, first of all, I like him in a DFS lineup. He's starting 12th this week, so the potential to move up spots is fantastic. On the current year, he's 3rd in the playoff standing, so he's well within that next cut range, but he's been driving really well as of recently. I mean, except for last week where he had some sort of issues during the race and wound up finishing pretty poorly. But prior to that, he was average finish of 3.6. Dude's been racing tremendously good. He's been one of the fastest cars on the track. He has 10 consecutive top 10s here at Las Vegas. So this is a track that he races at extremely well. 6 top 5s and 2 victories here. And his worst finish here is a 7th place finish. So if we're looking at a guy who is consistent at this track, that's Brad Keselowski, and it's the reason why I like him inside 10-1 as my favorite to win.
Yep. I like that call quite a bit. The guy I'm going to go with is just on the cusp, and that is that Chase Elliott at 9-1. If you look at his recent form, been running really well. 3 top 5s in his last 6 races. Last time I checked, that's pretty good. At this track, has a ton of success. His last race here wasn't great, 26th, but before that, a 4th and a 9th, 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s over his last 7 races. I feel like he's trending in the right direction. I feel like he was hot once the restart happened, kind of faded away. Now he's getting hot again. At basically 10-1, I really like those odds. I like that potential payout. And, even if you don't want to go there, plus 250 for a top 3 to give yourself some wiggle room, I feel like is a nice way to look as well. I'm a big Chase Elliott fan. I think he runs really well this week, and starting 3rd is a great start to kind of start towards the top, finish towards the top. As we head outside of the top 10, but ever so slightly, as you mentioned, Ryan Blaney 10-1 is another guy that I'm a big fan of this week. Just kind of looking at his recent form, he had a 22nd back March of last year. Outside of that, he's been great. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of his last 7 have been inside the top 10. 3 of those have been 5th place finishes. I feel like he's another guy that is ready to have another impressive performance. And, starting near the front, Wait, where is he starting? He's starting 15th, so in the middle. More of a DFS, a good DFS option as well. But at 10-1, I think he's closer to the guys that are inside that than that next range, which starts with Almirola at 25-1. And all these numbers are off of DraftKings Sportsbook. If you're new to the pod, but yeah, I think he makes a ton of sense and provides a little value at a nice number.
Yeah, Blaney is one of those guys who his success at this track definitely lends to somebody who should be a little bit more favorable in terms of the betting line, but probably because of where he's starting in this race and kind of, he's had an up and down season. I think that's why we see his number closer to that 10-1 mark, where throughout the season there were times where he was within that 5-1 range for a winner. And there was a handful of races there where Blaney was the favorite going into like a few races consecutively. So I think I like him to kind of rebound and return to form a little bit this week at a track that he's pretty good at.
Yeah. I it's not always great when we're simpatico, because usually that either means things are going to go really well or really terribly. But we got to do what we always do. We got to go outside that 10-1. And find some points of difference. And I'll let you start with your Alex Bowman, 30-1 this week. Talk to me about him.
Yeah, Bowman, he's a guy who I'm kind of looking at based on the fact that the guy who you like inside 10-1, Chase Elliott, he and Bowman are teammates with Hendrick Motorsports, so they're likely to try to work together to stay up at the top of the field here. Bowman's starting 8th, so he's starting right there in the front of the pack. Bowman's sitting 7th in the playoff standings right now, which is just inside the next cut line. So he's going to have to perform well over these next 3 races to make sure that he can move into that like semifinals range. He, excluding Bristol, he's finished inside the top 10 in the previous 4 races of 2020. Last week, obviously, you can always throw out that one race at that short track where there's a lot of bumping and grinding going on. I mean, let's keep it PG here.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of bump and grind.
At those short tracks, you see that aplenty. So yeah, those results at those races they're not indicative of these bigger tracks like Vegas.
Yeah, and short tracks are always interesting too, because it's like even last week, I think 7 cars finished on the lead lap. It's crazy how fast cars can get lapped and lapped again, and they're 2 or 3 laps down, and then all of a sudden they're back on the lead lap. It's pretty wild, but
it's a different kind of race, those short tracks. There's a lot more anomalies that happen, but he's also, his last 3 races here, he's had an 11th, a 6th, and a 13th place finish. So, he's not the best, but he's also been running, near the top 10. And, being that he is in the playoff hunt, being that he does have a top 10 starting line, I like him to stay within that 10th place position, and him and Chase Elliott, like I talked about, to try to work together to stay up there with the potential of the old man Jimmy Johnson, who's also a Hendrick teammate of theirs. If he is able to work his way up there, assist his two younger brethren to a better finishing place. So that's why I'm looking at Bowman in this one.
100%. I like that call. I don't know that I love the 30-1, but I'm looking at his top 5 at plus 325. That seems really tasty. A number that I could definitely get behind for sure. Let's stay in this range and go with another guy that you like. It's not Kyle, but his brother Kurt Busch this week, 40-1. Talk to me about him.
So this one to me is just kind of like a homer pick. I mean, he and Kyle are from Las Vegas, so this is their home track. I know the butterflies probably get to them, as Kurt hasn't been as successful as his brother Kyle here. He does have 2 top 10 finishes at this track, pretty well removed from each other. He's not the greatest here, but I'm just looking at him as a guy who he's 12th in the standings in the playoffs. So, as it stands currently, he'd be getting cut right now over the next 3 races. So he's going to have to perform well. He's probably raced here a ton, having grown up there. So he's probably familiar with the track. I'm going on a hunch here that he's going to be the hometown boy. He's going to stay within the top of the field, and I like him for a top 10 finish, because even that's plus money right now. So that's where I'm leaning with Kurt.
He's definitely had a renaissance in his career. He's been much better this year. So I don't hate it. I think it's definitely something that's worthy of taking a shot at, especially at his price. Um, like you with Kurt Busch, I am going to go a little aggressive here.
Oh no.
I am going to work on a hunch, and I'm going to go way down the board. I am going with, get ready for it, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Oh
125 to
lordy.
1. Now I'm not suggesting going in and putting a play on him to win the race because I don't think that's going to happen. However, I expect him to perform well at this race, a place where he has had success in recent years, including back in February where he finished third at this race. Back in March, he finished sixth at this race, or I guess March of 2019 rather. So two of his last three races, top tens, including a third and a sixth. That's pretty nice. Obviously, the 26th in between. It's also good to see that he switched to Doherty Racing, and was still able to kind of have success at this track despite switching cars and manufacturers and all that stuff. But I feel like he's starting back in the pack. I think where is he? 33rd, so not exactly where you want to be. But I'm also not looking at him to win the race. I'm looking at 3-1 for a top 10. Plus 300 or 30 to 1 for a top 3. Let's go to top 5 where he is. Where is he? Stenhouse. I don't know. I don't think they have it listed
He's
on here.
probably not even on there because
He's not even listed because he's so low, but which is weird that they have a top 3. Anyways, thanks DraftKings, but yeah, I like him. If you're playing DFS, I think he could be interesting.
Speaking of that, real quick, I just looked him up. He's the 16th highest cost player. He's 7,800, right near Austin Dillon and Matt DiBenedetto and Clint Boyer. So DraftKings DFS also thinks very highly of Stenhouse and his ability to move up the track.
Yep. So I like him a lot. I think he has top 10 finish in his range of outcomes, potentially top 5. And when you consider he's starting 33rd, that's a pretty good range. So I will be taking a little look at him as a top 10 type option, and getting triple my money basically. But Brian, we got to do what we always do. We got to hit him with our best bet for this race. Where you go and who do you like?
Man, I feel like I keep missing out. So eventually it's going to hit, but I'm going to go with the second guy we talked about here, Alex Bowman. I could take the scapegoat way out and take a top 10 at minus 106, but we don't do that here. So I'm going to go top 5, Alex Bowman, plus 375, almost 4-1 odds there. I like him to plant his flag as the top Hendrick driver this week. So yeah, let's go Alex Bowman, and let's watch this kid rise to the top in Vegas.
I like it. I like that a lot. I will probably be right with you on that. My best bet for this race, I'm going Chase Elliott. I'm going top 3 at plus 250. I think he has a really good run. I think he has a very good shot at winning. If you want to split your bet a little bit and look at that 9-1 bet for the outright, and then plus 250 for a top 3. I think he runs really well. I think he has a good result. I think starting near the front is nice, and I'm very optimistic about him this week.
And with that, we're both going to be screwed because we both like Hendrick Motorsports this week, apparently. So
we'll be flying the Hendrick flag all day on Sunday. Enjoy the race. As always, if you have thoughts, if you have bets, if there's somebody you like, drop them in the comments. We'll try and shout you out on next week's show. But for Brian Twining, I'm Kyle Robert, and we'll talk to you guys next time.